First one, I'm just talking to Coach Dickert about this, and he's talking about the return game a little bit and kind of needing to unlock that and get that rolling. What do you maybe see as kind of the key to getting some big returns?
Well, it's been interesting because opportunity to return hasn't been there. We've seen some pretty good kickers, and we've been at elevation a few times, and so if you go back and watch all of our returns from the season, there's a lot of touchbacks on there. Just fine kicking by the opposition, man. So opportunity, when we get that, we've got to create some, and then we got to do a good job. We've kind of had to move some guys around because of this or that, and to create some consistency in our front line blocking to give us a chance, and at the returner position. I think when Lincoln was back there, we had kind of had it going, and then he kind of got hurt, and then we had to kind of find some new guys and whatnot, and so we're just kind of working through that process. But he's right, man. We got to get it unlocked and create some field position.
Kind of on the flip side of that, you guys don't have to work on kick coverage a lot in the games because Colton's booting everything out of the end zone. I mean, how much of a luxury is that just in the sense that, he kicks off and you guys probably realize you're running down the field just to run off it real quick?
Yeah, and he's been awesome. That kid has done everything we've asked him to do. He's better than he was a year ago. He does a great job of staying in the moment, staying composed, and doing what we ask him to do. So he is a weapon. He's been good. And, the tough part is you do that enough times, you got to remind guys how to cover kicks, So coach is always like, well, if we're kicking it out, what do we think? Like, oh, coach, when that one happens, we got to be ready, and we put the time in to work it, and that's the deal, man. So I think it's a luxury, but also you got to stay on top of our guys from a coverage standpoint and be ready to go. And we found out against Stanford last weekend, we planned on that ball being out of the end zone, and then all of a sudden, just got under it a little bit and landed on the 5-yard line or something. Our guys were ready. So that's where we want them to be, is ready.
Doing a story on Simon and just kind of, the art of long snapping and the fact that, you don't ever hear his name on a broadcast because he doesn't make mistakes. For you as a special teams coach, that position, just having that guy and having that consistency, for 2 years as a coach here, and then, his leadership, what have you kind of seen from Simon, or how much fun is it to coach a guy like that?
Well, we don't coach him. we leave him alone. He is a seasoned vet. He has done a great job. He's a professional at what he does. He's mature. He's dependable. He's our guy, and he's the guy in that group that kind of keeps everybody where they need to be. Can't say enough about his leadership. Can't say enough about him. He's a very quiet individual, so you don't notice him a ton, okay? And that's a good thing at long snapper, in my opinion. So, he's just been top-notch individual. Whenever he's done with snapping, he's going to be very successful no matter what he does.
The last time we talked to Dean, he was mentioning that him and Nick had just gotten a new remote control car that they were just like running laps around. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I seen it. I actually took it for a spin. It was awesome. So it's a bike about 2 feet tall, and it's motorized. And Dean's a mechanic. Dean's a master of all these different skill sets. He can build cabinets. He can build rocket bikes, all this stuff. So he builds this rocket bike, and I see him on it. I said, I want to take that for a spin. And so I took that around campus a little bit, right? Trying to get out there and see everybody. That thing flew. I ended up on my, so I hit the gas a little too hard, and I ended up on my head at one point. So I had to take it away from me. But those guys are crazy, man. I heard I wasn't here for it. I heard that they built like a locomotive, a little mini locomotive on some of these old tracks, and then sent it down the tracks at high speed. So I had to have a conversation with them and just be like, hey, we need you guys in games. You can't be doing that.
So it sounds like it's like a thing that kind of keeps them engaged at least. It's just like something to do at least.
Yeah, they find their own fun, but they're great individuals. Dean's very smart, very educated. He's going to be, once again, just like Simon, going to be very successful no matter what he does.
So you guys have moved away from Lincoln from kickoff return since he has gotten hurt. Is it safe to say that he's going to be away from that the rest of the year, or how much have you thought about putting him back there?
Well, we've been working him back and forth in there, trying to get him back going in that. You know what I mean? So a little bit. He's playing a lot on offense right now, so that has a little bit to do with it. Also, if he's tired, that's not going to be great for either party. So it's just kind of a game by game situation. Really, when we get out there, a rep by rep. I know he wants to get back in there, and we're kind of just trying to ease him back into it.
I'm curious about the challenge of just fielding a punt cleanly. My NFL team is the Chiefs, and they drop punts like it's a bad habit. How much is it, or how nice is it to just be able to rely on Isaiah to at least just kind of field it cleanly, and you can trust that?
Well, I think our coaching staff has done a great job with his fundamentals. I think they've worked really well with him as far as like teaching him how to read the ball, catch the ball, make good decisions in traffic, that type of stuff. So it's been good that way. And it does feel good to have a seasoned guy back there. He did this he was a punt returner at San Jose too. So he has experience and whatnot. And, the biggest thing is just developing depth behind that and making sure somebody else is ready to go in case he can't go.